Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Give you an update on Richthofen. This past week, working on the structure for these escort missions. I say, it's going to take week 2 and week 3. It might stretch out a little longer, we'll see. But I did get some work on the Recon escort mission, and then the outcomes for a bomber escort, a balloon bursting, or a trench strafing mission. So I'll show you what I'm thinking there. It's tables at this point. Did not get to bomber escort mission. It seems like the recons would be first. I've already done balloon bursting and trench strafing, so the next would be how I want to do escort missions in general. So however I do recon escort mission will be very similar to a bomber escort mission, but with different objectives and how those might play. So here we go. A little bit of the nomenclature. You're going to have areas that you will be reconning. T is for the trenches. EL I'm calling enemy lines, and this is something that's close to the enemy lines. So for example, balloons, wouldn't do you any good to have a balloon 10 miles away from the front lines, unless they were. I'm going to do some more research, and so I envision that they're going to be closer to the lines. So I'm calling that region, whatever that is, enemy lines. I'm using the nomenclature behind enemy lines, BEL, where you would find artillery, because you don't want those too close to the front lines. So I still have to do a little research, and I may fudge that a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to be historically accurate, but I want the flavor, right? And when you're playing it, you feel like you're in that environment. Okay, you'll roll on D6, and it'll give you a mission, a recon mission. And what these numbers mean here, a 300, a 130, a 113, this is how long you need to spend in each zone. So if you rolled a 1, you would do a trench. You're going to be reconning the front lines or the trenches, and you're going to need to stay there to be successful for the recon aircraft to take their photographs and do whatever, flying along the trenches for 3 turns. Depending on how that plays out, on what a turn is with each of these missions, and with this trench strafing, draw 2 cards for burst damage. You're trying to do a total of 4 damage to the trenches for troops. That would constitute 1 turn. But you're reconning, so you're not strafing. So I'll come up with the mechanic of what 3 phases or 3 turns would be. And the same thing with these other areas. So we'll define what a turn is. So on mission 2, and keep in mind, when you go from the trenches to the enemy lines to behind enemy lines, you're going to go from the trenches, you're going to fly out and back. So going behind enemy lines, you're going to go trenches, enemy lines, behind enemy lines, and then back. Every one of these is going to have at least 1 turn over the trenches, and if you're going behind enemy lines, at least 1 turn at enemy lines, and then however long you stay behind enemy lines. The coming home, there would be no requirement for that. You roll on this to get your overall mission. If you're over the trenches for 1 turn, you roll kind of an outcome of what you discover, or what you recon, right? That's the idea. First 3, it's kind of, you don't find anything. If you roll a 4, 5, or 6, this should be a T1, not just a 1. And that means you found a concentration of troops that have values of 1 to 4. I'll define what that is when I get into doing the missions, but here's the idea. The longer you stay, the more you see. And now we'll set up a mission to where, let's say you rolled a 6, you're on your 3rd turn, you stayed over the trenches for 3 turns, you're going to see a concentration of 3 for infantry that are in the trenches, which means you're going to have a much meatier mission to do. So the better your recon, the better your missions you're going to go out on. Now the 4+, you'll notice there's no 4s up here. This is a push your luck. You can decide to stay over the mission site for an additional turn. I might extend this 5, 6, 7 right now. So 4 plus, obviously, why would you stay 5 when you get the same results, other than shooting down other aircraft or setting a personal high or something. This is also laying the groundwork where I don't know if a single pilot, even with a wingman, could stay over the trenches for 4 turns, just with the amount of damage you're going to take. I mean, 3 is going to be hard enough. But that also allows for the campaign mode where you might be controlling 2 or 3 pilots with wingmen, and then obviously at this point air combat's going to be 1v1 with the wingmen. Taking it to where there's 2 or 3 dogfighting and in and out is an exponentially different problem to solve, which I'm not going to try to tackle, at least not anytime soon. So you might fly over with 2 pilots, and staying over the trenches for 4 turns might be much easier to do. So I'm going to explore this area beyond, but again, this is push your luck. Same thing with the enemy lines. 1 turn, chance of seeing nothing, trenches, and then balloons, and concentration of troops, and now you get to see 2 balloons or up to 3 balloons. Again, a single pilot probably not going to be able to shoot down 3 balloons. Campaign mode, multiple pilots, this becomes viable. So this system will work in single pilot career mode and campaign mode where you're managing more than 1 pilot. And then behind enemy lines, I got trenches. I don't have balloons back here, but I do have artillery, and this will then generate bombing missions, right? Potentially strafing, but I'm looking at, again, some sort of level of abstraction at this point, and this would definitely be bombing missions to try to take out that artillery. You might run the recon mission, get your points, and then that information goes on abstracted that your artillery shoots at theirs because you found it, but that won't play out in the game at this point. Now, you're going to get interceptors that are going to come, and that's where I need to design the AI and the gameplay on what those interceptors look like as far as how many and quality, and then also what do they focus on, meaning are they going to go engage you, or are they going to try to focus on shooting down the recon aircraft? So that's going to take a little bit of work to come up with something that's both playable and believable. And then once I get this piece done, this also goes for bomber recon. A bomber escort, excuse me. So this is a big chunk. I like where this is going. It's opened up my mind to reworking some of the scenario stuff that I've done, and it's going to play into the experience because depending on, I mean, if you go out as a rookie and somehow survive 3 rounds over the trenches, you could potentially level up in 1 flight. That's where we are this week. Good progress, I think. I think at this point, if I was to, I highlighted some of this stuff last week. I don't know why I didn't save. At least the things that we're on track with. And here, I feel I've at least defined all of this right here. And I did say 2 to 3, so let's see, maybe next week I'll have that AI figured out, which would then kind of take this bomber escort mission and include that in the structure of things. So far so good. I'm making some good progress, I think. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys watching what we're doing. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I've been loving the comments. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Gary for his suggestion of the renaming of the pilot level ace to Ace of Aces, so there's no confusion between a historical ace and what I'm calling an ace in the game. I love that. I'm going to make those changes, so you'll go from a recruit to an airman to a veteran to an Ace of Aces, and that'll be the progression for both players and AI pilots. So Gary, thank you so much for that. That was awesome. I appreciate it a lot. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.